I just want to understand this more clearly. So you're saying that me having those brain farts are actually a healthy sign of aging? Because I was worried that it'd be early onset Alzheimer's or dementia at my age of 25.
I mean, I'm not a clinician. I can't decide if you have any problems, but my sense is you're within the normal range of behavior, and it's the normal human experience to have this happen. And frankly, it can happen more often under certain stressful or preoccupying circumstances. And for you, if you forgot something in the middle of a sentence, you'll be okay. Nothing's grave is going to happen to you. Even if you walk to a room and forget, in 2 seconds you can go back. What I was interested in is what to do for people so that moments like that, what we might call distractibility or mind wandering or mind blanking in some cases, when that happens often, and when that happens when it is consequential, almost life or death, then you got to really take a look at it.
Yeah.
And so let's put the blanking to the side, because there's a lot of interesting reasons for that, and just talk more about maybe the topic of mind wandering. And it gets back to your question regarding mindfulness and why mindfulness and what is it, etc. So just to say, it often happens that the things that our brain does that are so awesome and the result of our evolutionary advantages can also become the same things can become kryptonite for us.
Yep.
And that happens to be the case when we talk about this very important capacity we have called mental time travel.
Mm-hmm.
And so mental time travel is actually sort of the pinnacle of brain evolution, right? We can transport ourselves not only in time, but we can transport ourselves into other people's minds. Like if we take somebody else's perspective, we've actually traveled into their body, are looking out of their eyes and trying to see the universe from their perspective. So those are very powerful capacities and very useful, right? So when we think about mental time travel within our own mind, it might be rewinding the mind to an episode that has occurred before, some past experience, and you're reflecting on it like, oh, last time I had this problem, I did this. Or you're fast forwarding so that you're planning the next thing, or just like you were saying, even planning before you host a podcast, you've thought ahead and you're planning ahead. Very, very powerful thing to do. And by the way, when we do that, our attention is actually in that moment. When you're in the past, your attention is in the past. It's within the simulated experience of your mind reliving and unpacking that memory of the past. So it's not just that our mind is going back. When I say our mind is going back, it's that a memory is emerging and our attention is now transported to that moment. Well, it ends up that under high stress or demanding circumstances, or there's just too much going on, too much distractibility, when we end up having those mental time travel moments, it's not just a productive reflection of the past or a productive planning for the future, but it's like bad.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, it's we end up like ruminating and reliving and regretting events when we think about the past. It's not only, oh, this happened before. It's like, that's so terrible it happened. Why did it happen? Why did I say this? Right? That inner loop, sometimes I refer to it as sort of the loop of doom, where we're just we're rehashing the same content. It's going nowhere. We're not solving any problems. Same thing for the future. We're catastrophizing and worrying and kind of caught in a simulated reality of our own making that frankly, hasn't happened yet, but may never happen. We're just making it up. So now it's a real problem for our attention, because not only do we feel terrible and we're not solving any problems, but we are spending out this very precious brain resource of attention, and it's not serving us, because as we're getting temporally hijacked and our attention's moving around, we're missing out on what's going on right now. And typically the present moment demands, especially if it's a high stress circumstance, aren't going to go away. So this is where we want a solution in which we can train our mind to show up in the present moment on demand, so that we can actually experience the moment to moment unfolding of our lives. And that's very hard to do by default, because it ends up that this mental time traveling business that we've been talking about happens about 50% of our waking experience. Our attention is not in the task at hand.